G'day. This is the corded electric drill. We're going to show you the parts of the drill, and we're going to talk a little bit about the bits that it uses. Drills use bits. There are many different types of bits. Several different types of little ones here. This is a square screw bit. This one has a Phillips head screw bit in it with a bit extender. These little ones here are called nut drivers because they're hexagon shapes in them. What most people think of as a drill bit is called a twist bit. It looks like a twisted piece of metal around a center shaft. A variation on a twist bit would be these masonry bits. Here's a couple different sizes, but they have a piece of carbide at the top that gives them a different shape with the head. It looks a little bit like a house. This one is called a self-feeding bit. And there's a couple variations on a theme. There's one that's kind of flat and round, but what it has in common is it has this piece here where the little tip starts biting in, and it literally, once it bites and grabs, it just pulls itself through the wood, called a self-feeding bit. You see these a lot. They're either called spade bits or paddle bits. They get pretty wide, up to about 2 inches. They look like a little paddle with somebody would canoe. So I most of the time call them spade bits. Got another one here in the shop that's called a Forstner Bit, and when you look at it, it's kind of flat, and it actually will cut. It's meant to cut blind holes. When you cut down into a piece of wood, it'll cut to a certain depth and stop, and when it finishes, the bottom of the hole is completely flat. It's not concave like these other bits would leave. If you drill with a twist bit and you come down in, it's going to leave a hole, the bottom of it, the shape of the bit. Forstner bits are usually mostly used in fine woodworking and cabinetry. You can see that it's got teeth, it's got a center hole, and then it's got a bar across it that will eat out the wood. And I've got a couple here called hole saws. They're a type of bit. This one here is about a 1 inch, and I've got them up to about 6 inches. We use that one for cornhole boards. And it is literally that. It's meant to cut out a large section of a piece of wood. And the big hole, this one's, I believe, is 6 inches across, and it has a pilot bit to help get it started, and the pilot bit sticks just beyond the plane of the teeth so that it locks it in place for what you're drilling. Now, parts of a drill. I've got two different types. They're both corded electric drill, not to be confused with a cordless, but they're corded. I'm going to start with the DeWalt one here. It's a DeWalt manufactured one. Show you some different parts, and then I'll show you some difference with the other red one over there. DeWalt drill. This is the basic housing of the whole unit. Things you got to watch out for. These are the vents that bring air in and pull air out because these things are air cooled. They generate a lot of heat when you're using them. They're using electricity. The back part here is known as the handle. It has a power cord coming into it. There is the trigger for starting a drill, and it's a variable speed trigger, so that what means you pull on a little bit, it goes slow. The more you pull, the faster and faster it goes until it has a limit. On this one, if you look underneath, the bottom on these has a direction switch for forward and reverse. And if you look, this unit also has arrows to do it. Now, these drills are designed for right-handed people, so that when I'm right-handed and I go to grab it, my finger is automatically going to push that switch away toward the forward position. I'll have to consciously think to pull the switch back to do it in reverse, forward and reverse. This end on the drill right here is called the chuck, and this is a keyless chuck. It's designed by you hold the bottom part here, and then you spin the top part, and it releases the chuck. The other drill here, the red one I have, is made by a Milwaukee company. Has the same, if you notice the handle, cord, triggers. This trigger has a selection switch. This one also has a trigger lock, which you have to be very careful about to make sure it's not engaged when you go to start a drill, because it will jump and take off across the table. This one has a keyed chuck. It has kind of a geared head, and it's designed where you hold the top part stays still, and you spin this part of the jaw, and the jaws come in and out, gripping the bit. Now, you can do it by hand to a certain point and get it tight. Then you come in and use what's known as a chuck key. It has a little nipple on the end and a gear part. It slides in the hole as a nipple, and then all you do is spin it, and you can get the chuck really tight onto a drill bit. Taking my chuck, I've opened it, I drop the drill bit in, I start hand spinning it, I make sure it's centered. Then I take the chuck key, make sure the little nipple there goes into the hole, and then you can bear down pretty tight and tighten it into the drill. This is the corded electric drill.